It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Look up on the wall, there on the floor, under the pillow, behind the door.
Welcome in. Happy 2026, our first show since the calendar has changed. The NFL playoffs are set. One thing that hasn't changed, Jeff Moore will be in the house. We will talk NFL playoffs. Did you enjoy the year? I sure did. Landon Schmidt, did you like this football season?
Well, as a Titans fan, I would say it's promising heading to next year.
You are definitely a half full guy.
I'm very optimistic, yes.
Yeah. The way it ended is this not weird? This is the way the 106th NFL season came to an end. A missed field goal from 44 yards that gave Pittsburgh a win. However, wasn't it nice to see besides Aaron Rodgers, who were the guys that scored the touchdowns to keep Pittsburgh in the game and win the game? Kenny Gainwell. Don't forget Calvin Austin III. Calvin, actually, his ends up being the winning touchdown. The kid missed the extra point, and then this kicker who is so good, Loop, misses a 44-yard field goal. And just like Boswell, who I think he missed an early extra point, and then this one. It was like two the whole year. Boswell missed right. It looked like it was good to me the whole way. I mean, in fact, I'm not saying they were wrong, but from my view, I'm still looking to see how it missed. But it must have drifted just right at the upright. So that is how the season comes to an end. I cannot wait to visit with Jeff Moore about all of that. That is for sure. Already, Kevin Stefanski fired today. Yesterday, Raheem Morris was fired, so Atlanta and Cleveland have already ditched their guys. What's going to happen with Harbaugh? What's going to happen, I guess, with Tomlin? Does that mean he's safe? I would think so. Who knows? I know both those guys will get jobs if they are let go by their respective teams. We've got it all set up now, the way it works with the setup, and Jeff and I will talk about all of that. The Grizz lose. Now they've lost 4 in a row. They're 5 games under 500. They may have lost Cedric Howard as well. This was tough last night. First of all, no Ja to begin with. And this was a calf contusion. You know, they're all worried now, rightfully so. They're all worried about calf strains leading to Achilles. I don't know if a calf contusion can be put in that same ballpark, but I do know this. Availability of Ja, sparing. That's just the way it is with this guy. When he was in, and they lost with him in the game, kind of the same way they lost with him not in the game. Here's the most worrisome thing, though. The guy who I think has played the third most minutes this year is rookie Cedric Howard, who we all have just said, wow, Zach Kleiman hit a home run on that. That was fantastic. In fact, didn't he move up to get Cedric Howard? He made a move to make sure he got him. I think that's the way it worked. And this guy, he is definitely a starter or a rotation player on just about any NBA team. I think he's going to be that good. I'm really impressed. He goes down early second quarter. He'd already had double-digit points and a bunch of rebounds, and it looked like that was going to be a clear double-double, and he was really going to be involved in keeping Memphis in the game. At one point, the Grizz had a 16-point lead in this game, and they gave it up. You got the two veterans engineering the comeback and the win in the fourth quarter. Luka Doncic, LeBron James scored 21 points in the fourth quarter to win the game. Totally, they had 18 assists. So the Lakers sweep the Grizz for the season. 3 games to zip. Doncic, by the way, had 36 points. The biggest killer, though, was Jake LaRavia. 11 months ago, he was a Grizz. They traded him to Sacramento. Landon, do you remember what they got for LaRavia in that trade? Was that just a cap space move? I can't. I can't really.
Yeah,
remember.
I'd have to refresh my memory on
Yeah.
that. I can't remember.
If you can't remember, you know I can't. Anyway, so LaRavia scores 21 in the game they win on Friday, and then turns around and scores 26 points last night. And he said, playing the Grizz, that revenge fact, that's not a part of it. Yeah, right. You've got to be thinking, these guys didn't think I was good enough. By the way, Cam Spencer, who may have taken on that role that LaRavia had, Cam Spencer had a bad game last night. I like Cam Spencer. I have high hopes for Cam Spencer, but he had a bad game last night. So the Grizzlies have now lost 4 in a row. They keep getting on the verge of getting to 500, and they can't get there. Now they're 5 games under 500. They are 15-20. Triple J 14, not a great weekend for him. Jalen Wells 23, a lot of that late in garbage time. Santi Aldama was pretty good again. He had 12 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Grizz are home tomorrow, which is good. But here come the Spurs. That's not so good. Will this losing streak get to 5? We will stay tuned on all of that. Now, besides Jeff today, we got medals. We'll do that in our final segment. I'll let you know, I watched a lot of American Athletic Conference basketball over the weekend. I was in Houston, obviously, to do the Memphis and Rice game. Get into that in a second. Here's the thing about this conference and hoops. It's really bad basketball. I can't lie, right? On this show, they pay me to be honest. Bad basketball. Like I say, I watched a little bit yesterday of Tulane beating FAU at home. Close game, came down to the wire. UAB beat South Florida in South Florida. I believe South Florida had the lead for like 85% of the game. Somehow, Andy Kennedy got to overcome everything, the road, the deficit, and they win in double overtime. They were very fortunate, to be brutally honest. But that was bad basketball, but UAB was a winner. Then Tulsa. They come in 13-1, 2 Q2 wins, quad 2 wins. The only loss was to Kansas State, and that was a close game. And they lose, of course, on the road, to the team Memphis beat, North Texas. That game close, too. Ended up being a 5-point differential, but it came down to the very end. So here's my take on what we will see in the American. We're not going to see great basketball. Look at Memphis. Memphis wins that game. They fouled 26 times. They turned the ball over 15 times. Crazy. They can't hold on to the ball. They played, again, I think 10 guys in the first 7 minutes, and then Penny settled in on his rotation. So here was who was out of the rotation, and I don't know if this is the way it's going to be the rest of the year, but Curtis Givens III played 7 minutes in the game, and then he didn't play in the second half. Quante Berry, think 4 minutes in the game. He didn't play in the second half. Ingram, who had started the game before against North Texas, didn't play in the game. Silla, who was available, remember, didn't play in the North Texas game because of a shoulder injury, was questionable for the game but available for the game, dressed, took in warm-ups, didn't play in the game. William Wharton, who I kind of wish Penny would play because I think he's going to leave if he doesn't, and I think there's a lot of potential with this guy. William Morton never played in the game. So there's 5 guys, a Rope and Mason. They're like the walk-ons that come on at the end of the game. If you're up 100 or down 100, So I don't even count those as rotation guys. The other 13 all really seem to play most of the time. But now it looks like those 5 guys, and I don't know with Curtis Givens, because a lot of people, he was the starter. A lot of people think he should be playing a bunch. Givens and Barry, both guys that could play a bunch. They're out of the rotation, it looks like. Ingram, Wharton, and Silla out of the rotation. If you're going to go with the 8 guys that you want, I got to figure there's going to be a 9th, and I think it would be Givens. I think the other guys may be out unless there's foul trouble. Maybe that's what Penny is going to do from here on out. But what you're going to see is a bunch of close games. And I think the winner of the American will have at least 3 losses, maybe more. And I still think it'll be Memphis. I think if they play the 8 or 9 guys that he's going to play on a regular basis, and they now have continuity because they know that they've played together and they know what their minutes are going to be and they know what their rotation's going to be and they know what their role is going to be. And let's face it, Doug McDaniel is the leader of this team. He gets a medal for me at the end of the program. Then I think this team will win the conference, but I think they're going to lose some games along the way. In fact, they have to wait now to play next Sunday in Boca. See, you win a game like that, you've won 3 in a row, but you start off 2-0 in conference. I think you want to play. I think it hurts that they're off for the middle week. FAU's going to play a game on Wednesday. I think it's Wednesday they play. So I hate that was the case. But I think you're going to see a lot of close, dramatic games. So if you like even Steven and competition and close drama, I think you're going to get that for the most part this year. But don't expect to see really well-played, clean games. This is not like the old Metro Conference where all these great teams and great athletes with a lot of time together because they played for 2 or 3 years as a unit. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see that in this league. Not based on what I've seen here in the first couple of games. So, like I say, they can continue to make free throws. That was a big difference in this game. They made 26 of 30. Remember they were 4 of 15 or something like that against North Texas. They were terrible. And I couldn't believe it. And they needed to hit free throws at the end of this game. So we'll see. I do think he has now settled on his rotation, and I do think that will go a long, long way. All right, just to revisit our picks from our 5 picks, and we'll have to do our picks, I think, on Thursday because that's the first playoff game this week, so we'll end up doing that. I was 3-2. I was so close to 4-1. Half a point. You got me on a hook on Georgia Tech BYU, but I did get the winner of that game. But it didn't matter. I'm 3-2, so are you. So now 39-34 on the year on 5 games over 500. 32-41, you're 9 games under 500, but you did pick up
Little by little.
Little by little. There's still time. We'll go through the NFL playoffs, and I don't know if there's time for you, but we'll see. You don't seem to be worried.
I'll never say never.
There you go. So this was interesting to me, that the announcement today. Former Cincinnati Bearcat Brendan Sorsby. He has picked the school that he is going to go to. He will be the quarterback next year at Texas Tech. So basically, he stayed in the same conference. He's transferring schools within the same conference. This is the school that is subsidized by Cody Campbell. I talked about him just last week. He's the guy. He's a bazillionaire. He did it with oil and gas and natural gas, and he's been a sharp guy. I mean, he and his buddy that were both on Texas Tech's football team and were roommates were always entrepreneurial, and he just built this great amount of money. He's got great ideas about saving college football, but in the meantime, he's going to follow the rules, and by following the rules, he can buy a team. He bought a championship in softball for the Texas Tech team by spending $1 million on one pitcher. It worked. He spent $4 million on Cody Toppin, the basketball player. And, well, they had a big win over the weekend. Maybe that's paying off. Maybe they make a run in the tournament. We shall see. But how much do you think Brendan Sorsby is going to cost Cody Campbell next year in the NIL budget? Any guess, Landon Schmidt?
He's definitely a millionaire.
Oh, yeah.
I want to say $2 million.
I want to say you're way off.
A lot more?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The
6?
just under $5 million.
Wow.
$5 million. At least that's speculation on what it will cost. So can you imagine that? He is the number one portal guy. So that's the zenith, I would think, for this year. Unless somebody got in a bidding war for somebody else, I don't know. $5 million for one guy to play college football. Just think. Toppin, who's making $4 million at Texas Tech, most people think the best contract he would get as a pro would be a two-way. Two-way, I think your max is $450 or $480, somewhere in that, under $500,000. He's making $4 million. It makes more sense for him to play college ball than pro ball. It's just crazy. Unreal. But that's where we are at. $5 million for the top portal guy. We shall see about that. I sit in the Family Leisure studio. I know we're going to get a new sale here pretty quick. I keep waiting to hear from Lindsay or from Billy or from somebody at Family Leisure. I did see they had not only our clearance sale on hot tubs and swim spas and, of course, on patio furniture. I saw that as much as 70% off. It's crazy. They had a Christmas clearance sale. Now what happens? Probably a New Year's sale. A 2026 extravaganza. The new terms will come out here momentarily. Can't wait to tell you about it because I know this. When you deal with Family Leisure, you're dealing with state-of-the-art, the best in design of all of the new technology or the new designs and fabrics for furniture. It's top of the line, and it's a beautiful place to go with friendly people, and there's always some kind of really good sale going on. The next one's coming soon. I'll tell you all about it, but right now, go enjoy what you can because there's special financing available, and if you mention us, you get a free gift. So head to Family Leisure. And this portion of the show is brought to you by the Commissary. That's Germantown Commissary. That is Collierville Commissary. Anybody I've ever talked to who decided to do the bird, they used to call it the 24-hour bird. They don't do that anymore. But I can tell you this, it's the best thing ever. Now, you might start thinking about that for next year. But what you can do now is go to Collierville and enjoy the all-you-can-eat buffet. They only have it in Collierville. That's the bigger place, where you get 3 proteins, always some chicken, always some pork, 5 sides, salad, and a drink for $15.95. Every day, Monday through Friday, only at Collierville. You know how much fun that is to go. This is the best place. Look, you said it. The Commercial Appeal did a sort of like a Sweet 16 tournament or a 32-team tournament. They took all the barbecue places. They pitted them up against one another. Pitted. You get that little play on words there? And they were the number one team in the tournament. They were the number one barbecue place in the tournament. Go find out why. Either place. The one in the quaint little area of downtown Germantown or the one in Collierville. I call it the Palace. At Houston, Levy, and Poplar, you will enjoy every bit of Commissary Barbecue. We take a break. When we come back, the NFL front and center. Jeff Moore joins us momentarily on Wallow and Friends.
My
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
To NST, it's never just another case. It's your shot at getting life back on track. Real help, real heart. 35 years and still winning. NST is the way to go. Call 683-7000 or go online at nstlaw.com.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's Renter's Insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Kohl's new clearance markdowns are intense. Up to 70% off is the kind of deal that'll leave you feeling stunned and make you whisper things like, "Where have you been my whole life?" to a cardigan. Just take a deep breath, steady your cart, and try to act normal. But it's not possible. The savings are just too good. Shop new clearance markdowns now, in-store and online at Kohl's. Select styles, some exclusions apply. See store or kohls.com for details.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Unlock your new go-to spot, Codes Dispensary in Steele, Missouri, just over an hour from Memphis. When you're ready for a legal, reliable option, they're right up the road. Explore the full menu of top-shelf products in-store and online. Short on time? Order ahead and cruise through the drive-thru for a quick pickup. Stack rewards while you stock up with Club Codes. Earn points for every dollar spent. Codes Dispensary, now open in Steele, Missouri. Supreme cannabis that's worth the drive. Learn more at CodesDispensary.com. That's CodesDispensary.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Welcome in. Happy New Year. Jeff Moore joins us now. We talk NFL with him all the way through the Super Bowl. We're in the playoffs. The 106th NFL season, Jeff, came to an end with a missed field goal that gave the Pittsburgh Steelers the AFC North. What a weird way to end the year. A dramatic moment for certain for Aaron Rodgers and all the Memphis connections on that Pittsburgh team. Let's just start with this year. Was this an enjoyable year for you? I know for me it was, because my Chicago Bears had a complete turnaround. The number 2 NFC seed. I don't like the way they finished the year, but they still got the number 2 seed. But all in all, what did you think?
It was very enjoyable for me, primarily because just the parity of the league was so evident. You've got two coaches that were head coaches for the first time that brought their franchises to the playoffs. Jacksonville with Liam Cohen, then of course Ben Johnson with the Bears, and Mike Vrabel, the job he did with the Patriots. And from week to week, I mean, there was just a lot of it was competitive. I mean, you just didn't know when you go, especially some Sunday night and Monday night games, you go in expecting that the team that's favored is going to win. And it was just so many instances where teams that were counted out came up big. I think one of the most recent ones that made the game interesting last night was Cleveland beating Pittsburgh. And of course, that's a division rival, but that kind of set the tone for Pittsburgh and Baltimore having to play to see who wins the conference. So, man, it was just, I mean, who wins the division? I just thought it was that kind of competitive year all year, which was pretty exciting. Now, there were a few teams that were pretty horrible most of the year, but the majority of the games I thought were really competitive.
Well, since you brought Cleveland up, they fired Kevin Stefanski today. In his 6th year, he was 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, so he's going to get a job somewhere.
Of course.
He needs greener pastures, apparently, or whatever you want to say. I think management bungled the way they work quarterbacks, and then they had injuries and everything else. But Stefanski goes. Raheem Morris, Atlanta wins their last game. Didn't matter. The GM and Raheem Moore were fired. There could be more. Do you think Harbaugh will be with Baltimore next year?
Boy, I don't. I think that both of those, it may not be a firing. It may just be Harbaugh deciding to take some time off or do something different. It'll be a de facto firing. But, you know, they're for at least the last 3 years, they've been a team that everybody expected to make it to the playoffs and win it all. And it's like they shoot themselves in the foot. It's not like teams beat them. They've just been historically consistent at beating themselves.
I think Harbaugh will be just like Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah.
He'll go somewhere else and win and get his team positioned for Super Bowls. What about Mike Tomlin? Did that save Mike Tomlin?
Yeah, I think it saved Mike Tomlin because, again, he ends up, winning 10 games and getting his team into the playoffs. I think it'll be a one and done, but I think the job that he did coaching this team, I thought was pretty good because they were headed in the wrong direction about 4 games ago. Fans were screaming for his ouster, and they turned it around and were able to fortunately win last night. So yeah, I think he's secure for another year.
I think Aaron Rodgers, which Tomlin went after him.
Yeah.
To go after a 42-year-old who, really bombed out in New York with the Jets, to have the faith in him, and you know what? He looked like Aaron Rodgers of old yesterday. And it's really a beautiful thing. I guess Memphians should be enamored with the Pittsburgh Steelers because you've got Kenny Gainwell. Oh, by the way, he caught a go-ahead touchdown. You have Calvin Austin. Oh, by the way, he caught the winning touchdown. Yeah. You've got Arthur Smith. He's the offensive coordinator for Mike Tomlin in that grouping. And so there's so much Memphis connection here. Randy Fichtner, he used to be the OC there. So there's a history with it for sure. And but Rodgers last night, to do what he did was incredible.
Yeah, he was outstanding. I thought the way he stayed in the pocket, it was funny to see a couple times when he had to try to pick up a first down with his feet. It was just hard to do. But he was definitely pinpoint accurate and certainly was vintage. That's what they went out. That's what they needed. The way he changed plays at the line of scrimmage, the way he just ran that offense. And given that their second best offensive player, DK Metcalf, was not there,
right?
the route that Calvin Austin ran to get open was brilliant, and certainly people say he slipped. I mean, the defensive corner slipped, but he was juked. I mean, it was
exactly. He slipped because he got juked out of his jockstrap.
It was a beautiful route and a beautiful catch. So yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers looks great. Unfortunately, the Houston Texans, the defense they're getting ready to face will be nothing like Baltimore's defense. Those guys get after the quarterback. They do a great job in coverage. So I think their time in the playoffs will be short-lived, but they got there.
An interesting remark was made on the broadcast last night where when Aaron Rodgers was playing Cleveland the week before, when they should have won the division outright, and they made for all that drama last night, the Browns continually blitzed. Now they had Myles Garrett, who gets a medal from me later for breaking the sack record for a single season by any defensive player in history, 23. But they have him, and then they were blitzing all the time. So Aaron Rodgers never had time for anything. There were not many blitzes last night by Baltimore. I was a little surprised at that, and that helped Aaron Rodgers, I thought.
I thought he just had a whole lot of time in the pocket. And of course, again, Baltimore is not, their defense has been average at best throughout the year. And their secondary was just, they gave some of the passes that the Steelers were able to complete. There was nobody around them. I mean, they were just wide open. They won't see that against the Texans.
The Eagles lose. They did not play Jalen Hurts. So they lose the number 2 seed to my Bears, even though the Bears lost the game to Detroit. Do you think Philly makes a smart move there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you got to rest Jalen Hurts because you're going to use him in your offense to run more than he's probably run all season. They've got to do that because they've been anemic running the ball this year. Just a big drop-off from Saquon Barkley a year ago. They're going to need his legs. They're going to need his arm. They will be tested this weekend with the game that they have with the Rams coming in.
Would you have rather played?
I'm sorry, they played.
They played 49ers.
Yeah.
Would you rather played the 49ers or the Packers? That's the difference.
Well, the Packers, absolutely, yeah. So I mean, it's a two-edged sword. But you got to, when it's playoff time, you got to be ready to play regardless of who your opponent is. It's about how well you play as opposed to who you're playing. And I think certainly the Packers are kind of limping into the playoffs with the injuries that they've had, but they'll be formidable. The Rams will be. I mean, the 49ers will be more formidable. But the 49ers defense has not been great this year. Their offense has really played well. Brock Purdy's played extremely well since he's come back from injury. And this Philadelphia offense has been so really just anemic most of the year. They've won close games, but they're a big question mark going into the playoffs.
We'll get into that game in a second because I've got a feel for that one. Bears lose to Detroit. They wake up in the fourth quarter. They score 2 touchdowns, 2 extra 2-point conversions to get 16-16, and then lose the game. Do you think that kills momentum for Chicago going into the playoffs?
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, I think Ben Johnson has his team believing. They run the ball extremely well. They run it well against the Packers. I think they'll be fine. They're just, they're playing with house money. Nobody expected them to even be in this position. Caleb Williams has had an outstanding year. It is obvious that the influence and growth he's had as a result of being under Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson will have a few tricks under his sleeve that the Packers haven't seen. I like them at home this weekend. It's going to be tough because it's a team that they're playing for the third time. That's always hard.
Smart of Green Bay not to play Love. They lose like 3 in a row now. They lost to Minnesota because he doesn't play in the game. Would you have done that? They were a 7 seed no matter what.
Yeah, you needed to protect him as much as you can, especially if you know you're going to be in the playoffs. He's going to be the difference between whether you win or lose because he's their best offensive player, I think. I think it was wise to protect him.
I think Kansas City is one of the model teams of the NFL, right? Since they did not make the playoffs. Mahomes got hurt, and they sort of I think they lose to Tennessee. They lose to Vegas down the stretch. Did they tank? Because they got the 9 pick now.
I wouldn't say that they tanked, but their best offensive players was not on the field. And, of course, Patrick Mahomes is just a big difference maker. It's hard to, when players line up in the league, it's hard for me to think that the players are not playing to win. The organizations may make decisions that impact the results of the game, but the players play to win. So I don't think they tanked. I just think, that's just the year that they had.
All right. I don't think they really cared about winning myself. All right, let's look at the playoffs. We start with the NFC. The Rams go to Carolina, even though they're on the road. They're 10-point favorites in this game, and, of course, winner of this game gets the number 1 seed Seattle that gets the bye.
Yeah, so Carolina beat the Rams a few weeks ago, but it was a very unusual game. Matthew Stafford, I think the Rams had like 3 turnovers. Matthew Stafford may have had 2, including a pick 6. I don't expect them to play that poorly going into Carolina. Carolina obviously, backed into the playoffs, lost to Tampa, and were fortunate that the Falcons beat the Saints. But I think, they've had a good year. Nobody expected them to win their conference going into the year. They're a team that I don't think is nearly as hungry as the Rams, nor experienced as the Rams when it comes to playoff football. So I like the Rams in this game, and I don't expect it to be a very close game.
Packers go to Chicago. We mentioned that already. Green Bay is actually a road favorite by 1.5, even though the Bears beat them in Chicago the last time. Crazy game.
Yeah, and these teams, when they played earlier, it came down to the last play of the game in both of those contests. But, the Green Bay is not the same Green Bay defense without Micah Parsons. So it's going to be important for the Bears to establish their running game early. I like them at home. I like what they've done this year. And, I like the little rivalry between Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game turns out. But I expect a close physical game, but I like the Bears at home.
Ben Johnson is an ornery guy. I mean, he's supposed to be good buddies with Dan Campbell last night when the Lions won. He shook hands. He didn't say a word.
Yeah.
He just, boop, boop, goodbye. Crazy. And then finally in the NFC, San Francisco at Philly. The Eagles, the defending Super Bowl champs, are 3.5-point favorites. I know San Francisco's defense is not very good, but I don't think Philly's offense is. I think San Francisco's offense is great. As long as Purdy and McCaffrey are around, my goodness, give me, and we'll be making our picks on Thursday, I believe, myself and Mr. Landon Schmidt over there, but I think San Francisco wins this game.
I do too, and primarily because San Francisco 49ers offense, they score quickly, they score often, but they play well early in the game. And Philly, their challenge is their offense has been so anemic that if they have to play from behind and against this San Francisco, the 49ers' biggest challenge, I think, is going to be Philly's defense. But if they can score early on this Philly defense and get ahead of the Philadelphia offense, I think they've got a really good chance to win, and they've got the weapons to do it, I think.
I'm with you. All right. Buffalo in the AFC, Houston, let's start there. 3.5-point favorite at Pittsburgh. We just saw the drama there. The winner will get Denver that gets the bye in the AFC.
Houston's got playoff-tested a roster. They've got experience. Their defense is elite. They're the best in the NFL. I think they're going to put tremendous pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and I expect them to win that game.
I do too. Buffalo at Jacksonville. Josh Allen, who by the way played one snap to keep his streak alive, and then Mitch Trubisky came in and they won their game anyway. They go to Jacksonville, and Trevor Lawrence, who's like, we've forgotten about him, but they've been good this year.
They've been the best 13-4 team that we've seen in a long time. I mean, most underrated 13-4 team that we've seen in a long time. But they won 8 straight games. They played consistently on offense and defense. Man, this is Buffalo's first chance to really get to the big dance without Josh Allen having to face Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he didn't have to go to Kansas City, but he's still got to go to Jacksonville. He's still on the road.
He's still on the road. I like the Bills, their ability to run the football. The biggest challenge that they have, and I think it's going to hurt them in this game, is their defense has just not been consistently good. And Jacksonville has been really consistent offensively. I like Jacksonville at home in this game.
Big one there. And then the Chargers, they got to go to New England. It'll probably be cold, and that Chargers aren't necessarily used to that. It's New England by 3.5, and Mike Vrabel. There's three guys you can make a good case for Coach of the Year, but I don't think there's anybody that's a Titans fan that doesn't regret that move that the Titans made on getting rid of Mike Vrabel. He's done a hell of a job there. The Pats, 3.5-point favorites.
I expect this game to be close. Drake May, I think, has been outstanding all year long. He's and this team, even though they've had a fairly soft schedule, they played and won against the opponents they've had to win against. This Chargers team, I think, is sneaky good, though. I mean, they're very physical. Even though their quarterback's been sacked more than any quarterback in the league, he is tough as nails. He really is a warrior when it comes to just playing and fighting. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach in terms of getting his team ready. I think this could be an upset. I think because of the things that look like they're an advantage for the Patriots aren't tested the way the Chargers. The Chargers have played probably the toughest schedule, one of the toughest schedules in the AFC this year, and they're just a really tough, physical, mentally tough, well-coached team, but they're struggling with injuries. Their offensive line has a lot of people hurt. I like them in this game, though. I really do.
Two great coaches, two great quarterbacks. If Drake May is clearly the MVP, which many people think he should be, and he's at home in a playoff game, he should win the game. I'm going the opposite way that you do on this one. My friend, Happy New Year. As always, so good to see you.
Yes, sir.
And we will chat again. We'll know what the next round's going to be when we meet again next Monday.
Look forward to it.
That is Jeff Moore on the National Football League. He's brought to you by Southern Security. Are you getting the lowest possible rate on your mortgage? At Southern Security, you'll get the best rate because they're a not-for-profit. They offer the lowest rates, flexible terms, no PMI, and always the best of service. You can refinance your current mortgage with the Mid-South's best mortgage lender so easily, two different ways. You can go online at southernsecurity.org, or you can call and talk to a human being at the office, 452-7900. Keep in mind, you ought to go see the branch in Collierville. It's the newest. This building is the prettiest bank space, credit space I have ever seen. Go take a look and realize Southern Security is an equal housing lender, federally insured by NCUA, 7 different locations. Southern Security is your home team credit union. When we come back, we got some business to do. Landon Schmidt and I will distribute precious and not so precious metals.
You have opinions?
I think it's over.
Of course you do.
I don't think it's that simple.
Everyone does.
I got all the answers.
Hit us up on the Sissy's Log Cabin listener line at 360-8255.
Hi, folks. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I hope your new year has started out in a great way. I think we're all relieved when the holidays are over and life returns to normal. And normal means that special gift-giving occasions always roll around. Over the last 5 decades, we at Russell Brothers have helped thousands of Memphians turn those special occasions into truly memorable celebrations when a small box of exquisite jewelry from Russell Brothers is opened. Beauty, quality, value, and service are what we have offered to our friends and customers for so many years, and all of that is wrapped together in the stunning jewelry you'll find at Russell Brothers Jewelers. Whether you're looking for a very important piece of jewelry for a big occasion, or perhaps just a trendy, whimsical piece to make her smile, we can help you. Remember, beauty, quality, value, and service are our offerings to you every day for every occasion. Come see us at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
This is it. Your last chance to upgrade your vehicle for less. Shop our biggest year-end savings ever at Landers Ford in Collierville, the #1 Ford dealer in Greater Memphis. That's right. To finish the year strong, we're rolling out last chance savings on a huge selection, just in time for the holidays. The price you see is the price you pay. No hidden addendums. That's the Landers Ford difference. New 2025 Ford F-150, Explorer, Expedition, Mach-E, Transit, and Lightning, 0% APR available. 0 down payment, 0 payments for 90 days. Want to save even more? Get $1,000 Ford bonus cash, plus we're paying top dollar for your trade. Get started online now at LandersFordMemphis.com. Don't miss your last chance of the year to upgrade for less. Give us a call to schedule your test drive today. Landers Ford in Collierville. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
As reported on Ford's 2024 total new vehicle retail sales report, Memphis market with approved credit from Ford Credit. Minimum monthly payment of $15.15 per thousand finance, regardless of down payment. Interest accrues from inception. Price, tax, title, and $6.95 processing fee. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends 1/5/26.
Amy Cox did something smart. She saved hundreds on auto insurance switching to Progressive. And with that money, she decided to treat herself to an anti-aging red light mask. Will she look like a horror movie villain every night? Yes. Will her boyfriend Kevin be scarred for life? That's certainly a risk. But it's Amy's savings, and if she's willing to risk her relationship for smooth, wrinkle-free skin, well, bye-bye, Kevin. Switch and see if you could save with Progressive and treat yourself. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Air. We breathe it naturally. Simple, right? Not so fast. The air you breathe could be hazardous to your health. Don't guess. Be sure with a phone call to the Memphis Mold Inspector, the only licensed mold assessor in the Mid-South. Call the Memphis Mold Inspector to check the air quality inside your home and office. Protect babies, pets, new homes, old homes, employees, friends, loved ones, and you. Just call 901-292-7788 for clean air and peace of mind. 901-292-7788 for the Memphis Mold Inspector.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. Let me ask you something. Are you seeing unsightly water spots on your ceiling? In your home, your office, or even worse, mold? Have you noticed shingles missing, pieces in your yard, or signs your roof just doesn't look right anymore? Here's the facts. What you see inside usually means there's already a bigger problem above you. At Metro Builders, we don't just guess, we inspect. Our team performs a full roof inspection right on site. We take detailed photos, document everything, and show you exactly what's happening with your roof. Whether it's a simple repair or a full replacement, don't let anyone tell you it needs to be replaced when all it needs is a repair. We offer free inspections, on-the-spot estimates, clear explanations, and yes, financing is available. Before a small issue turns into major damage, make the phone call that protects your home. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717. Metro Builders Roofing and Restoration. We don't just build, we build world class.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Two pretty big stories breaking at this very moment. Ole Miss quarterback Trinidad Chambliss has agreed to a new deal that would have him return to the Rebels next year if the NCAA approves his pending waiver for a sixth season of eligibility. So that's going to be a battle. He's already got an attorney for that. If he's given that deal, he'll be back at Ole Miss. Austin Simmons, they say, is who's in the portal, is going to land at Missouri. So he'll get a shot to play at Missouri next year. They other breaking story, these things come in threes, right? We told you first it was Raheem Moore that got fired from Atlanta. Kevin Stefanski went early this morning, getting fired by the Cleveland Browns. Pete Carroll, 74-year-old Pete Carroll, just got fired by Vegas. He only got 1 year there. His team was 3-14, and so the Davis family said, sayonara. See you later to Pete Carroll. All right, on Mondays, we do a thing called Precious Metals. I got a bunch. First bronze goes to Justin Jefferson, Minnesota's wide receiver. Became just the third player in history to record 6 straight 1,000-plus receiving yard seasons, and he did it in his first 6 years. Only 2 other guys, Mike Evans and Randy Moss, were able to accomplish that. I got to give, already mentioned this, the Memphis Steelers. That would be Kenny Gainwell, Calvin Austin III. I got to throw in Aaron Rodgers, I guess, because they came back from behind to win the AFC North in dramatic fashion for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to give a silver medal to Cleveland defensive end Myles Garrett. I already mentioned this, but he had a fourth-quarter sack of Joe Burrow. That was his 23rd. That is a new NFL single-season record. I got to give a silver medal to Tigers point guard Doug McDaniel. Not only has he established himself as the leader of this Tiger team, he's taken it a step further. The guy plays 30-plus minutes every night. In the game against Rice, and they needed him for 36 minutes, 18 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. He had a couple of turnovers. Those were in the first half. He did not have a turnover in the second half. He came up humongous. He needs to every single night. He's the best player on the team, and we've already talked about the mediocrity but evenness competitive-wise of this league. Every night he's got to have a line like that if the Tigers are to be winners. And then my one gold medal goes to Caleb Blaha and his team. You have any idea who that is, Landon Schmidt?
I'm over here wondering what it is.
Caleb Blaha is the quarterback for the University of Wisconsin River Falls. Last night, they came from behind, Wisconsin River Falls did, to beat North Central 24-14 to win the Division III. That's Rhodes Division, and they used to be competitive, and their league, I think, is the second best. The one that Wisconsin River Falls is in is the SEC of Division III. But North Central is the dog. They have been in 6 consecutive championship games. They've won the last 3. They had a 29-game win streak. They were huge favorites in this game over Wisconsin River Falls. This guy, the coach at Wisconsin River Falls, has been there 15 years. He started off, he had 2 winless seasons, and they stuck with him. And here it is, 15 years later, they win the Division III national title. Back to Caleb Blaha. His season total this year, total yards, 6,189. That breaks Joe Burrow at 6,080-something by about 100 yards. That is the best single season by any player for total yards in the history of college football. Congratulations to Caleb Blaha and the Wisconsin River Falls Division III national titleists.
What's their mascot?
I wish you hadn't asked that.
Okay,
I
never
don't
mind.
remember.
I retract my question. My bronzes, I'm going to kind of stick with what I did last week and give shout-outs to these quote-unquote lesser bowl games, starting with the Duke's Mayo Bowl, which I have to just come right out and say has to be the most disgusting post-game celebration in the bowl game.
Because I hate mayo.
Well,
it makes me nauseous to think about what they do.
Well, here's the thing. I love mayo. Love mayo on my sandwiches, extra mayo. I'm all about mayonnaise, but keep it off of me and dumping it on people, that's disgusting. But Wake Forest absolutely deserved it in their dominating win over Mississippi State. And the best way to start any kind of game is exactly what Wake Forest did. A 100-yard kick return from Cordell Bartley to get things kick-started. And then from there, Wake Forest was basically just scoring at will. Robbie Ashford had 303 yards passing, 3 TDs, an interception, and 2 extra rushing TDs in that performance. So great big bronze medal going to him. I'm giving a bronze medal to SMU, who got a surprising win over Arizona, and all the while, SMU's quarterback, Kevin Jennings, did absolutely terrible in that game. 278 yards passing, not bad, 0 TDs, 3 interceptions. And Arizona only capitalized scoring on 1 of them, but that was when they were already down 24-0. Not a very good showing from Arizona in what was supposed to be a very exciting offensive game, but SMU gets the job done. It was their rushing attack that got it done. TJ Harden, their running back, had 2 on the ground with another rushing TD from another running back. kind of a surprising bowl game because I thought Arizona was going to be a lot better. And then the Liberty Bowl, Navy took care of business, ran the ball really, really well. Blake Horvath had 2 passing TDs as well as 2 rushing TDs on the ground. And with Navy, they're going to have a good rushing attack. And Cincinnati just didn't have an answer for any of them, so big bronze to them. My last bronze medal, I wanted to give him a silver, but the fact that they did not win, I had to give him a bronze. Riley Leonard and Alec Pierce for the Indianapolis Colts. And the way that he performed in that game against the Texans, it makes you wonder why they brought in Phillip Rivers when you had a guy who was completely capable in the backfield. And he managed this game really, really, really well. 270 yards, 2 TDs, and his go-to guy was Alec Pierce, who had 132 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. Michael Pittman had 2 crucial drops that really just didn't look good for him, but Riley Leonard looked really, really good out there. Of course, the Texans get the wins, but big bronze medal for Riley Leonard. I'm giving a silver medal to our hometown guy in Lincoln Perry. Lincoln Perry had himself quite the bowl game in the Armed Forces Bowl against a not-so-great Rice team. He had a long 63-yard rushing TD that helped add to his stats of 106 yards total, and Texas State routed this team 41-10. Rice just didn't belong in
Rice
that game.
shouldn't have been in a bowl game, although, by the way, the American was 5-4 in bowl games.
Yeah, did really, really well. And an interesting tidbit about how Rice should not have been in that game. In that game, they made 2 trips to the red zone. That was their 30th and 31st trip all season of them getting to the red zone that year. Not a very good stat.
Yeah, it's interesting in that game. Texas State led 10-7 with like 3 minutes left in the first half.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy.
Yeah, and then they just absolutely ran away with it. And then my silver medal, we've been talking about it all day, how the Steelers just did better than their best case scenario, which a lot of people believe they were going to go 9-8, but they proved all the doubters wrong and went 10-7. And a lot of that had to do with the Memphis guys, Calvin Austin, Kenneth Gainwell, both did really, really well. Aaron Rodgers, who played really well, just doing 6 yards shy of 300 yards passing with a passing touchdown, and he used his legs a little bit, had a 20-yard rush on the ground, still showing he's got a little bit of something in him. So really big win for that Steelers team. And then my gold, I have 4 of them, but it's really just one collective gold. That is all the teams who have moved on to the college football playoff semifinals. I would say I've only seen one person have their bracket look like how it looks right now. And this was some guy who's trying to predict, who's been wrong about a lot of things, but got this one right. But I would say 99% of people did not have Ole Miss, Indiana, Miami, and Oregon being our top 4 teams in the college football playoffs. But really good performance from all of them.
Speaking of which, my Rust got 3 of them quickly. SEC 4-8 in postseason, and 2 of those wins from Ole Miss, and I like their chances against Miami. Both of the field goal kickers in the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game, they both missed easy kicks. Hard to believe because they're both really good, Chris Boswell and Tyler Loop. And the New York Jets. Do you know how many interceptions the New York Jets defense had this year? I'm not sure I've ever seen this before.
A big old goose egg.
0 to the Jets defense. That's a Rust.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, with Jets becoming the first team since 1933 to not record a single interception on defense, and for the SEC to only win, they only have 3 of their 10 teams win bowl games: Alabama, Ole Miss, and Texas. And the thing about it is technically Alabama's didn't even count because that was just a college football playoff game. That wasn't a bowl game. Right. So really, it was only Ole Miss and Texas from the SEC. They have only done better than, I believe it's the Mountain West and Independence, who have worse records in the bowl season. Wow. That's not very good.
No, that is not. And those are good and are bad medals. They've been brought to you by Landers Cadillac of Memphis. Yes, the grand opening sale. I don't know if they still got it going on. I got to check. I got to call over there. But I do know this. They still have the best new Cadillac models that are selling fast right there in their brand newly remodeled, beautiful showroom right there on Poplar. They still will give you unbelievable grand opening savings on all the remaining Escalades from 24. There's $20,000 in total savings there. And all the new ones are coming, and see how much you can save with the Landers Easy Pass by going to CadillacofMemphis.com. If it doesn't say Landers, ladies and gentlemen, you paid way too much. That'll do it for us. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Johnny Radio's right around the corner. Please have a great day, everyone.